in this fam's DNA. Dope is what flows in this fam's DNA.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to Dope Interviews brought to you by the Mighty 19 Media Group. I'm your host, Warren Shaw. And I'm sitting here not in a virtual, I'm in a live building today. Usually we do Dope Interviews on the virtual front, but live and direct here with my guy, Daniel Benhamu. Daniel, what's good, brother, man? How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. And we're here having a conversation in your beautiful new shop. New for a lot of people. I was speaking to the barber who took care of me a little bit earlier ago. Didn't realize this is a 15-year, entity, and that is new here, to this specific location here, Hammer and Nails. Daniel, talk to me a little bit about your journey into men's grooming.
Wow. What a good question. I mean, first of all, I have no experience as a barber. During the pandemic, I started cutting hair for friends and family. I found it to be very therapeutic, very enjoyable. And, it was kind of like fueling my creativity in a sense. So I found it to be way more appealing to me than I expected. And I was looking into becoming a barber because at the time I was an actor, stuntman, writer. I was in film production for over 15 years, doing every kind of production you can imagine. I'm not exaggerating when I say that. From music videos to theater to TV shows to movie, literally everything. I've been a part of every kind of production there is. So I was looking for, I was considering becoming a barber at the time because that industry is unfortunately in dire straits with the pandemic, with AI, with the strikes, just all of the above. So, I explored that option for a little bit and found that there's no apprenticeships in Florida for barbers. So you can't just shadow a barber for 6 to 9 months and then take your exam. You have to go to school, and school is expensive. It's like minimum $17,000 and 9 months, 40 hours a week. And there's no wiggle room. You can't find another way to do it. You have to do it that way only in Florida. So I forgot about that idea and, just kept on working in production. And to be completely frank with you, hating working in production.
I hear you.
It was really too much work for too little pay. And every boss I had was not the best. So anyway, I decided to move back to Florida to just find something new. To be honest, it was because, I really wanted to start a family someday and I saw no way of making that happen.
No, time-wise,
yeah, everything. So I was like, all right, I need to regroup. I need to move back home. I need to find a new path. So I started exploring all of the ideas that I could to start a business. And in the meantime, I got my real estate license. I got my mortgage loan originator license. I became a notary. I took a class in cybersecurity. I was trying everything, literally everything. And then one morning I was scrolling Instagram and, there was a street interview. Some lady was being interviewed about what she does for a living. And she said she's a business owner. She has a nail salon and she said how much money she makes. And I was like, are you serious? I had no idea the nail salons made that much money. And then I remembered that Shark Tank pitch that I saw from 6+ years ago, at least, that was Hammer and Nails.
Really? I know a big Shark Tank.
Yeah. It was on Shark Tank and they did not get a deal because back then, first, it was too soon. And second, it was just a nail salon and cigar bar. And at that time, they just didn't go for it. So, I looked into it and I saw that they had expanded their services into a full-scale one-stop shop for all your grooming needs. And they started franchising. So I looked into it a little bit more. And then I clicked request more info, thinking that I was just going to get an email with some numbers because that's really all I was ready to receive at the time. And then about an hour later, it was a Sunday night. I was by myself. An hour later, I get a phone call from a number in Orlando. I didn't know who or what, but no one was calling my phone at that time in my life. So I picked up the phone. I said, hello. And someone said, hi, Daniel. This is so-and-so from Orlando from Hammer and Nails. I'm like, okay, hello. How are you? Good. I'm the franchisee in Orlando. We have a shop. Why don't you come up and visit us in person and see it for yourself? I was like, okay. So I got in my car and I drove to Orlando and I visited it and I thought, wow, this would do amazing in South Florida. And there were none in South Florida at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that trip was kind of like a pivotal moment in my life. And as I was driving back into Broward County, I just felt like this, like, oh my God, I just struck gold kind of feeling.
Yeah.
And I have to make this happen somehow. I didn't have the resources. I didn't have the assets. I didn't have anything. But at that time, I'll explain. I was able to secure an SBA loan through a lot of applying and getting rejected, applying.
It's a hard process.
It is something else, man. And that took about 8 months to get approved because I got rejected from like 9 different banks to the point where the bank that finally approved me is in Ohio. Like that should just show you a little bit about how far I went to find a bank to give me this SBA loan. So once I finally got approved, then it was like, all right, we're off to the races. This is a real thing. And then that's just the beginning of the story of how I'm here.
So I got to ask, in Ohio to opening a store in Florida is like a really interesting situation. But when you went to Orlando, did you have the opportunity to experience the service? Did you do the service yourself?
Yes, they gave me the sports pedicures.
Okay.
And it was, they put the hot stones in between my toes. I got the paraffin treatment, the hot wax. And I just felt like I was a king. I felt rich. I felt like taken care of. I felt, almost like, wow, this is so relaxing. It's the middle of the day. It just doesn't get better than this. And I would love to have a business someday. It was like a pipe dream at the time. I think, it's unbelievable. I'm so blessed to be here right now. Yeah. But at the time I was thinking, what a blessing it would be to have a business and a cause at the same time, something that actually contributes to people's well-being, makes them happy, makes them feel better about themselves. And at the same time is able to, provide for me and give everyone who works here, all of our artists, the opportunity to grow and expand their skills too.
Yeah. In the short time that I've been here, I can honestly say, even from you getting the call as quickly as you did, right? Customer service seems to be at the priority of what Hammer Nails wants to be about, honestly, truly. And even your graciousness in taking this interview and allowing me in to experience the service, I just find that to be exemplary, right? And then you're able to pass that on to your customers so that they are repeat customers. And they're telling their friends and telling their friends and their family members as well too. That really seems to be working when you seem to be doing it for the right reasons. But I do have kind of an interesting question. I don't know if you know the answer to it. Why it's called Hammer and Nails?
So why do you think? And I'll answer.
I couldn't even begin to guess.
Right? You know what? It took me a long time to figure this out.
Please enlighten.
Somehow it hit me recently. And I was asking people all the time, like, why do you think it means? They're like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know either. I have no idea. And then one of these days recently, I was like, it was a flow in my state of mind that came out. And I said, yeah, like I'm going to get hammered and do my nails. And then I was like, oh, that's it. It's as simple as that.
As simple as that.
Hammer and nails. Cause it was originally just a nail salon with cigars.
That's wow. Well, we learned something here new. So
I just figured this one out.
So for someone who doesn't, although we've talked a little about what it is, but for somebody brand new coming in, like how would you describe the concept, right? Just hey, Hammer Nails, the elevator pitch, if you will, of the service.
Well, I would say Hammer and Nails is a place that services all of your grooming needs. It's a barbershop, a nail salon, and a bar. You can get your facials, you can get your manicures, pedicures, all kinds of beard and haircuts. We do all kinds of colors for your hair if you wanted to blend the grays, for example. So this is more of like a spa experience because it is an experience more so than it is a barbershop.
Yeah.
Barbershops, you come in, you don't really talk to anyone except your barber, and then you leave. Here, we actually are building a community, and that shows not only in every visit, but with we had a wine mixer before we opened, and we invited all of our founding members, and so many people showed up and they started talking to each other and exchanging numbers and becoming friends, people who had never met, and they were just here. And this is what this is, a community for like-minded individuals who want to invest in themselves, who want to pamper themselves, and who know that they're, or at least want to believe that they are worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, that's an important thing. And then, as I was telling you, as we were talking off camera, I've been here tangentially a couple times and just hearing people talk, dudes, just talking. Hey man, you're going to love this. You should do this. And I heard another gentleman say, hey, I bought this for my family members. I'm going to share this because we want to make sure that we are building community as you alluded to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I think, as you get older, as an individual, not even just as a man, but sometimes it's harder to find that community. So this is creating that, because old school barbershops is like, yeah, whatever. Like what you see in movies and commercials, and yeah, you might be talking a little smack here and there with your barber or some other people here, but this, especially for that kind of, what I'd say is an elevated experience, brings a different level of community to, people who can be here. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So men have what's called, so okay. For men, generally speaking, you have work and you have home, and those are the only two places you go. Now, that's why cafes and barbershops became very popular amongst men, because it became a third space where you don't have any of those responsibilities. You don't have to think about any of those things. You can unwind and relax. This is the ultimate third space, because you come here, you truly get taken care of. People know you, you know people, you get pampered like nowhere before. You can stay as long as you want. And I mean, really, like, you're not to use kind of cheap slogan here, but when you're here, you're family.
Yeah.
So like the Olive Garden.
But it works, right?
It does
work. And again, I can attest to it too, even at the time. And, even just hearing somebody say, hey, like, you don't have to rush out. Right?
Yeah.
Finish your drink, relax,
absolutely.
Kind of like take it all in, before you head out. I had one question, in terms of this location. So you said you were coming back from Orlando and, hey, this is going to hit in South Florida. What made you choose Davie, Florida as a location for this endeavor?
Well, I've been in Davie. I was born and raised in Davie, actually.
Okay.
And I have always come to this plaza. So it used to be towers, not tower shops, just towers. And they'd have car shows here every Friday night.
Really?
Oh, yes. That whole area of retail, that's phase 2. That was built about 10, 15 years ago. Before that, this was all just a parking lot, everything out there. And they would have car shows every single Friday night. And it was like the hangout for all of Davie. And so I used to come here when I was in high school every Friday with friends and see all the cool cars, the Fast and the Furious era when everyone had those souped up cars, So I always knew that this location itself was great. But there was no vacancies when I first started looking for a location for Hammer and Nails. And then about 2 months in, suddenly we get a call from a realtor who said that, hey, the sports clips that's there is, this was a sports.
Yeah, dude, sure was.
Yeah. Yeah. So they told us the sports clips, were not going to renew their lease. They've been here for 15 years. In commercial real estate, once you pass 10 years, the landlord gives you the option to renew, usually for 5, sometimes 10 years. They had their 5-year option term, and that was it. The landlord said, that's it, I guess. It was unfortunate that they had to close, but at the same time, it was the perfect location for us. Okay, so let me go back to answering your question. I felt like this was the perfect location because you have all kinds of people around here, athletes, you have families, you have Miss Nova University College, you have all of these amazing businesses in the plaza. And then on top of it, there's an interesting counterintuitive approach to commercial real estate, or at least to maybe Hammer and Nails specifically. And that is, you would think that investing in a very high-end location would generate more income. So you might think, oh, let's go to the beach. Let's go to wherever there's like tons of skyscrapers and all that. But actually, the best performing shops in this franchise are in Ohio and Virginia and places where there's actually not so much to do outside of coming here.
Really?
Right. Yeah. So that's why I was like, well, Davie's not it's like it's kind of like just in the middle. It's its own little area.
Yeah.
Right. And so people in Miami don't like leaving Miami. People in Fort Lauderdale don't like leaving Fort Lauderdale. People in Davie, they want to stay in Davie.
Yeah.
And so this is the perfect place, specifically this plaza is the perfect plaza where people always want to come through here. So for some reason, whether it's Costco, Trader Joe's, Best Buy, Home Depot, whatever, I just felt like, this was a no-brainer and I had to take this opportunity no matter what.
Well, it seems like it makes a lot of sense, Daniel. Also, again, as a man of integrity, from what I'm gathering as well too, giving back to the place in which you grew up as well too. And like, so the shop has a meaning behind it, because then you do have meaning behind it, and putting it back in your space where you kind of grew up and, had so many great times as a youth.
Absolutely.
I think is really amazing. Wow. We're chatting here with Daniel Benhamu here on Hammer and Nails on Dope Interviews, and we'll be right back. Yeah.
You've earned this. Now it's time to embark on your own personal adventure. Book your vacation with Exquisite Travel and Tours today. Explore the world and discover yourself.
And we're back here on Dope Interviews with my guy Daniel, owner of the Hammer and Nails in Davie, Florida. So, Daniel, we've talked a little bit about the business side, entrepreneurship as well too, and I want to pick up where we left off. Even in this area of Davie, Florida, right? So, because this is an elevated experience, right? We're in this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful storefront. I done got the treatment, facial for the first time in my life. I'm feeling the glow up is real.
Absolutely. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but how does that translate, I think, to all levels of, income, so to speak? Is there a thought process to that, or because you're going to have to have a certain level of job and income in essence to be able to afford this element?
For sure. And you know what? We have a lot of people who have said it's too expensive for me.
Sure.
And to be completely honest, it actually sort of pains me to hear that, because the numbers seem big at first, but when you actually take into account the value that's built into these services, you realize that it's totally worth it.
Right.
And not only that, we're just 3 weeks in to being open, but we had a founding membership offer available for months before we opened. And with that, you would have gotten a free service just for signing up. You would have gotten a discounted membership the first year. And then all of the membership perks that come along with it are always going to be there. But if you're spending $30 on a haircut every time, then I can understand that you wouldn't want to pay anymore. If you have a great barber who's, that's it, that's all you have to pay, that's great. Good for you. And I mean that sincerely. Like, I'm glad that you found a great barber who, et cetera. But our fees are about $48 for a haircut for a member. And that can be a 45-minute experience to an hour long. And it includes a facial. Sure, the price is more, but it's not the same value that you're getting.
Sure. Right.
It's not just a haircut. And there are places that charge $60 for a haircut, and that's it. We give you a beverage of your choice. We give you, extra like shampoo, conditioner, a wash with every service, hot and cold lavender infused towels, a facial. There's just so many benefits that come with it. So it's really about making those big numbers look small.
Yeah, no, it's happening. And, I'm just thinking, from when I was growing up, sometimes it was $15, even $20 haircuts, right? But the experience is so much different, right?
Yeah.
And as we talked about in the first segment, the ability for our male to look at this and say, listen, I'm worth it. I can take care of myself here now. Right? So I don't think this is exclusionary in any capacity. I think it's worth the value. And again, people find value, to take care of themselves. So I commend you and the brain trust, if you will, of Hammer Nails kind of on that. So is there like Hammer Nails, like contracts? Do all the owners kind of get together at some point, once a year, twice a year, something like that?
I just received an email that over this summer, there will be a first conference. Yeah. And it's going to be in Arizona. So, I'll be going there probably with my GM, Becky, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm excited. I've never traveled like this for work. I've never, this is my first business. So I'm really excited to be a part of a community like this, because everyone I've met in this franchise, they're just all very smart, successful, goal-oriented people. So it's really cool to be in their orbit. I'm very grateful for that.
From the male lens, and as I pivot a little bit too, though, something I was thinking about, not a lot of barbershops, and excuse my just bluntness on this. Like sometimes it's like, hey, it's for black and brown, or this is for Caucasian people, for whatever the case may be. Hammond has found a way to meld it all together. It doesn't matter what persuasion you are, you can come here and you can get service in the way that you need to be serviced and identified. I don't know if you know much about that in terms of how that concept kind of came to be, where Hammond didn't want to be identified as the barbershop for this or the barbershop for that. It's the barbershop for men.
Right. Well, when I started, look, we've touched on a lot of things in this interview, and you mentioned the location, the brand, my entire coming into this industry. How did I get to it? I am so proud of myself for so many things that led to this moment and to this business being here, et cetera. But the one thing that I can truly look at and say, this brings me the most joy in my experience out of all of this is the team that I found here.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you how proud I am of everyone who works here, because I truly believe that they are excellent at what they do and they have a very bright future in doing this and so much more. So that is what I'm most proud of, is this team. And when I was hiring, I made sure that I wanted to find people that were going to accommodate certain types of people, right? So I found it was my goal first to find people, like a group of people that were going to stick together and really, truly feel like a family, but also that they were going to be able to accommodate a large group of people. So I was looking for, different ages, different, ethnic backgrounds, different everything. Like, I really wanted to find people that could appeal to all types of people that came in, just in case.
Yeah. Well, it's working, right? And I think when you couple that in with manicures, pedicures, and all of that, I think the experience continues to build upon itself. And I commend you and your team for instance to kind of do that. When you find them, like, how are you finding them? Like, what's the call? Like, this isn't a job you apply for on Indeed, I would imagine.
Well, oddly, we found everyone except our barbers through Indeed. Yeah.
Staying corrected.
Yeah. Well, the barbers were very difficult to find.
Yeah.
I was on Instagram. I was going to my personal barber. I was texting all of my friends. Who's your barber? Can I talk to him? I really did like the real grassroots research to find the people that I needed. And for example, my barber, Fernando, I had to slowly but surely tell him about it. And I couldn't always speak very loudly because his chair was directly next to the owner's chair, who also cut hair. So I was like, for a year, I'm like, first of all, I was showing up in my throwaway shirts and shorts and like whatever shoes, because, you get your hair cut and you leave itchy afterward. Not here. We make sure that you're washed afterwards so that you can go to dinner.
Yeah. I'm feeling good.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyway, so I showed up, kind of looking like just a normal, not really impressive person, so to speak, right? And I would tell my barber about it, and slowly but surely, he had to interview me because he's like, "What do you mean you're opening a barbershop? Like, what?" I'm like, "Yes, you're going to be a W-2 employee. You'll make hourly. We'll provide all the equipment. We'll provide extra training for not the skills, but the procedures and the protocol of the franchise. And you get your tips same day. You'll get commissions on memberships and retail products sold. So there's really a lot of incentives behind this whole business model. And it was just it was very hard to find. We're still looking to grow, and it's very hard to find really good, responsible, talented artists. But luckily, the people that we do have here are excellent at what they do.
No, it definitely seems like it. And yeah, I think again, it's breaking the normal business model. I think at this space, like, you pay for your space and blah, blah, blah.
Right, totally.
You know what I mean? And providing even then as artists, I love that you utilize that terminology, like that autonomy and that security as well to kind of be here.
Mm-hmm.
So be honest with me. Like, what is the most underrated service that men in general don't think about comes to anything that they can get and anything that can be provided here?
I mean, truly, when people walk into that nail room and they sit down and they get their first pedicure or their first manicure and they look at us and they say, "I've never had one in my life and now I can't live without one." I mean, that is, for us, it's the most rewarding experience to see them enjoying it so much.
Yeah.
But for me as well to experience, I love my manicures and pedicures with the hot wax. with the sugar scrub, with the hot stones, with the drink, with TV, I mean, it's just like, for me, yeah, I'm like, you know what, guys, every Friday afternoon, I'm going to get a pedicure and a manicure just to be ready, nice and pretty for the weekend. Like, why not? You know, why not? I mean, it's so relaxing. So I think that, if you want to come in here and have your hair cut, your beard done, you get a facial, then you do your hands and feet, you can do that any day of the week if you want to.
Yeah. Going back a little bit to the area, right? And you'd mentioned, Davie, and I remember it was like the Dolphins used to practice around here and things of that nature. So with this element experience, is there a hope to kind of break into the athlete space, celebrity space, and the whole line as well too?
Totally. Yeah. Right now we're still, since we just opened, there's still a couple things that we're working on perfecting.
Sure.
But, as far as marketing goes, we're definitely going to be approaching a lot of these like elite gyms in the area and, inviting them in and just doing any kind of promotional events that we can to participate with them and get them involved, because they may not know about this yet, but once they find out, I'm sure they're going to be members here and be coming on a regular basis.
Well, it sounds like you are not just, running a business. You are running an experience that is going to continue to grow here. I wish you nothing but continued success with Hammer and Nail. And I want to thank you so much for your time here.
It's my pleasure. Please, let's do this again. I mean it.
We absolutely will. He is Daniel Benhamu, the owner of Hammer and Nails. I am Lauren Shaw, the host of Dope Interviews. You know what it is, y'all. It's been another Dope Interviews.
Together we stand, divided we never. The vision is one, striving for the better. Working as a team, working toward a dream. It's not even work when the team is the dream. On a united front, we got our own back. A band of brothers to counteract any attack. One heart in fact, forget what the blood say. Dope is what flows in this fam's DNA. So let's do it for the love, give to the max. Listen to opinion, but react to facts. And remember that together with a shh, but separate, just pieces of it. Dope is what flows in this fam's DNA. Dope is what flows in this fam's DNA.
Family represent like a tree with names on it. We're free, no chains on it. Relieved, the pain's gone, I can see. We come together like questions on the quiz. Mojo Flow and Viz, man, you know what it is. And if ignorance is bliss, you're gonna hate this lesson. Organized intellect like a tropical depression. My symbol is the cross, a mic and ghost peppers. Cause I'm just a black sheep growing up to be a shepherd. Moonlighting as a weapon to protect the children. Every brother is a father, dynasties we're building. Max, J and K, Bay, and Isaiah, next level of the family foundation. Understand me?